The next few months are going to be a time of uncertainty for a lot of people. The end of forbearance brings a time when people are not sure what's going to happen with their mortgages. Are they going to be able to pay back what is owed? What's going to happen to them? How are they going to pay it back? And is the government going to help them? Now, the good news is that if you have a federally backed mortgage like an FHA or a Fannie Mae or a Freddie Mac, a VA or a USDA loan, there are a lot of options. Other folks who don't have these loans are at the mercy of their banks, but today we're going to focus on FHA. FHA is the biggest lender in the United States, and a lot of homes are under FHA mortgages, which means for a lot of people, what's going to happen at the end of forbearance will be determined by the rules of FHA and the end of forbearance rules that are constantly changing. Now, I have an update on what I talked about in a couple episodes ago about the FHA partial claim. Now, we're going to talk about in this episode of Debt Law, Survival Guide for the Desperate Debtor, about a couple changes, a couple of things that are going to affect a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of very, very lucky FHA homeowners who are going to have a very good surprise that they're going to be able to qualify for something that they would never, ever qualify otherwise. I'm going to talk about that and a couple other things relating to FHA and some other mortgages. My name is Diego Mendez. I'm a bankruptcy, loan modification, and foreclosure lawyer here in Miami, Florida. I've helped a lot of people in the last few years with this type of issue. I've represented thousands and thousands of people in loan modifications, and I've dealt with FHA, I've dealt with Fannie Mae, I've dealt with all the major banks, and in a lot of different situations in litigation and also direct mortgage modification negotiations. So I've helped a lot of people, and I'm here to give you advice on how to deal with the end of forbearance, how you can save your home when the end of forbearance comes and the COVID financial meltdown happens for a lot of people. So what we're talking about right now is the FHA standalone partial claim. Now, the partial claim is a lien for 100% of all the money that you owe the bank at the end of your forbearance. So what that means is that if you have 10 or 12 or 18 months of unpaid forbearance, you can take all that money and put it into a lien at the end of the loan and then pay it when you refinance or sell the home. Now, I did an episode on whether this is a good idea or not. I'm not going to get into that right now. You can watch that one, which is right here, and you can learn about what I think about this type of lien and how it can affect the home value and what it means to you if you pay it off or you take the lien. But for now, just understand that this is something that a lot of people are looking to do, because if you don't do this, you have to come up with the money to pay for all those months you didn't pay, and most people don't have that. There's been a change in the rules that is basically a very ambiguous change and something that a lot of people are not going to understand, and I believe it's going to cause some litigation. Now, the big thing is that before, FHA had very specific rules about who qualified for the partial claim, the standalone partial claim. They recently issued new rules that are very ambiguous as to people who are late. In the past, if you were on March 1st, 2020, 30 days late, you did not qualify for the partial claim. What that meant was that you had to be current on March 1st, 2020, or only 30 days late. Now, there's been a rule change that says, basically, the rule is very ambiguous, like I mentioned, that says that anybody, in essence, who's late qualifies for the partial claim. That's the way it's written. I don't believe that's the way that the courts are going to interpret it, but that's the way it's written. A couple of my eagle eye viewers pointed out to me that they spoke to their bank who were late, and they told me that the bank was giving them 90 days. So what that meant was that you could be up to 90 days late. So I'm going to go with that. If that's what people are hearing, I'm going to go with that. So if you were only 90 days late, meaning that you were late from January, February, and March, then you would qualify for the standalone partial claim. Now, you have to understand something about this. FHA and banks don't do this. If you're 90 days late on your mortgage, in general, the only option you have is to pay it back or to do a loan modification. The idea that somebody can be 90 days late and roll it into a lien at the end of their mortgage without any application, without anything, is completely unprecedented. This is something that a lot of FHA homeowners who were struggling at the end of at the beginning of 2020, end of 2019, and found themselves not being able to pay, completely unrelated to COVID, they are now in a situation where they can take all that money and turn it into a lien at the end of their mortgage and all the forbearance that they took for the entire 18 months. So in essence, these folks can get up to 21 months of unpaid mortgage and put it onto the back end of their mortgage without having to apply for a loan modification. This is unprecedented. This is a huge opportunity for people. If you are in this situation, please count your blessings, go to church, and thank whatever God you prayed to, because you just saved your home with this. Because a lot of people who were late in January of 2020, a couple months before COVID started, were faced a situation where they're not going to be able to come up with the money, and they were going to have to apply for loan modification. A lot of those people are going to lose their homes. So if you are one of these folks, count your blessings, because you have basically won the lottery. So now, everybody else, if you were not late, then you would have to have been current, which is basically what most people are when the COVID hit, and then they asked for their 18 months, and now they're facing the end. And remember, what a partial claim, a standalone partial claim is, it only applies to FHA. How do I know if you're how do I know if you are FHA? How does the homeowner know that? Well, you can ask your bank, am I FHA? They're going to tell you. You would also probably know if you put 3.5 down when you bought the house, if you received things from HUD talking about your mortgage, you're probably an FHA if you're a first-time homeowner. Most people who are first-time home buyers bought their home through FHA. So those folks are basically very lucky right now and have an opportunity to save their homes. Again, I'm not sure if it's always a good idea to get the partial claim, but it's there for a lot of people who cannot pay. So that's it for now. Again, my name is Diego Mendez. I'm a bankruptcy, loan modification, and foreclosure lawyer here in Miami, Florida. I'm always reading and listening to comments, and I'm researching these topics for you. I'm an attorney who has dealt with this for many years, and I'm willing to listen to anybody who wants to write me a message. I'll try to help you. I'll try to answer your questions, and I'll research the topics, and I'll see if I can answer questions for you. It helps me in my practice. It helps me with my clients. It helps me become a better attorney, so I'm willing to do it. Diego Mendez, Debt Law, Survival Guide for the Desperate Debtor. Please like and subscribe to my channel so that I keep making these videos. I'm trying to get to the point where I have a lot of subscribers and a lot of people watching me, so I can help a lot of people with the end of forbearances, mortgage modifications, foreclosures, bankruptcy, and other issues that are plaguing American people right now who, by no fault of their own, were being affected by the coronavirus financial meltdown. Thank you very much.